Deep cleansing breaths. Inhale, exhale. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for October 20th, 2022. And if you're watching on YouTube or listening in your car or while you're having coffee, say it with me. Inhale, exhale. Deep cleansing breath. Inhale, exhale. Deep cleansing breaths. It's going to be okay. What obviously wasn't what we wanted yesterday, but beginning of the series, we said we wanted them to go out there and steal one game. They did. This one stings a little bit because they were up 4-0. But you know what? It happens. San Diego's a good team. Things like that happen. It is the NLCS. There's no way San Diego was going to go and come back to Philly 2-0 and have a shot in this series. So they had to win. And once things happen, especially in big moments like that, they tend to snowball. Look what happened in Game 2 against the Braves. And Wheeler was pitching great, and then a couple things just kind of unraveled, and there we go. And while we're talking about it, how short are the corners at Petco Park? Like, that's insane. Like, the first home run should have been a line drive off of the wall, but instead it just goes bloop right over. But it is, listen, I don't design, I'm not a stadium designer, so. But again, keep your heads up, Philly. Remember, the old Philly, the old us, we would have been like, series is over. And I saw some of you on Twitter, some of my buddies were telling me that they saw like the season is over, the Phillies are terrible, we suck again. Listen, that's the old Philly. I'm trying to start a new vibe here. So on your social media posts, if you're posting anything about it, hashtag new Philly. Let's do it. This is a new mentality. We are in the driver's seat of this game because the next 3 games this weekend are in Philly. And that crowd in an NLCS spot with, I don't know if they're going to win 3 in a row, but the Phillies have a chance to go to the World Series on their at their home park. Take it easy, Philly. New Philly. Hashtag new Philly. Let's do it. I don't even know. Let's get this trending. Hashtag new Philly. I don't even care if you're talking to your manager at a meeting today. Just say hashtag new Philly. Let's do it. So, Flyers also lost last night for their first loss of the season. Okay, there was 3-2. I think they had like some guy that used to sell hot dogs was their goalie last night, so it's okay. But I like where that team is heading. I have a couple friends who are big Flyers fans who I want to have on for Back to the Future who are going to be coming soon, but more on that later. So again, calm down. But it's very rare that my 2 podcasts sort of intersect on a very specific moment. But one of my major sort of letdowns over the course of my Philly fandom was the 1993 Phillies. They came out of nowhere, went to the World Series, and should have never even been there or sniffed there. But instead, here they are playing the Blue Jays for the World Championship. So on this day, October 20th in 1993, it was that infamous, I think it even got delayed. It rained all day, and it was just a mess in Philly. It was Game 4. It was the 15-14 game. So Blue Jays beat the Phillies 15-14. Blue Jays came in leading 2-1. So this was a pivotal game. Like, basically, Phillies win this, all of a sudden you're tied 2-2 with another game in Philly. You're looking good. So this game was just wild from the start. Blue Jays scored 3 in the first. Phils come back with 4. Lenny Dykstra hit a 2-run homer in the second to go up 6-3. And yes, for you Howard Stern fans, Lenny Dykstra used to be a good baseball player before he was the crackpot on the Howard Stern show with his teeth and all the other drama he has going on. We'll keep it PG here. But he was a damn good baseball player and very clutch. So all of a sudden now the Phils are up 6-3 in the second. Blue Jays come right back and score 4 in the third. Next thing you know, it's tied at 7 after 4. And in the fifth, that's when things kind of exploded. Dalton and Lenny Dykstra again each homer, and the Phils were up 12-7 after 5. They tacked on 2 more, and both teams tacked on 2 more. They're winning 14-9 after 7. And at this point, you're like, all right, like that team was crazy, but I mean, it was the most wild World Series game that I had ever seen. And you're like 14-9, 5 runs going into the 8th inning. Yeah, you had Mitch Williams liked to create drama, but you had to think, and I know as a Philly fan and a young Philly fan at that, I'm like, there is no way Mitch Williams can blow this lead. No way that bullpen is going to blow a 5-run lead, despite what we were just seeing the whole time. In my head, maybe call me naive, whatever. So, of course, there's no way that's going to happen. What happens? 6 runs in the 8th inning, and the Blue Jays went on to beat the Phillies 15-14 in the most wild, craziest, and I still think to this day probably the highest scoring. I don't have any facts to back that up, but I don't think there's any World Series game that was ever since then as high scoring. But for my money, everybody talks about the way that Mitch Williams, the Joe Carter game, that cost them the series. And yeah, I mean, obviously that was the last game. This is the game. If they'd have held on to this, and then you have your ace, Curt Schilling, on the mound the next day, who still pitched amazingly that next day to send it back to Toronto, all of a sudden you're going up to Toronto only needing to win 1 game, and the whole outlook is different. And I mean, who knows? I mean, the strike happened in after that next season, but all of a sudden maybe the whole mentality, mind shift, maybe it was new. We could have had a new Philly back then, and that's. But we know what happened. Joe Carter is one of the most devastating losses in Philadelphia sports history, and here we are. So this day in 1993, the Blue Jays beat the Phillies 15-14 to go up 3-1 in the World Series. We know how that World Series ended, but we're not dwelling on that. I just wanted to get that out there because it's very rare, because I have an episode coming down the line on that 93 team, and there's a lot of focus on this game and just some of the managerial moves and things like that. But like I said, talking to your people, hashtag new Philly, take a deep breath. We are okay. I promise you, we're okay. We're going to win at least 2 out of 3 this weekend, but I'm getting greedy because this is new Philly. We're sweeping them this weekend. Let's go. Go have yourselves a Thursday, and until next time, I'll see you when I see you.